Hello, and welcome to Living Well and Bell Hot Topics. My name is Kolton Spinn, and I'm honored to be your speaker. Today, we will be going over a few topics that I have chosen that I feel may be very important to you. Before we get started on the hot topics, I'd like to tell you a little about who I am. My name is Kolton. I have spent roughly 7 years in the IT field, so I've been working on computers for quite a long time. I have multiple certifications, including many that are related to cybersecurity, and I've spent many years as a computer teacher to various people. Moving on. Why is cybersecurity something that we need to focus on in Living Well and Bell? Well, cybersecurity can affect your overall well-being. It can affect your financial abilities. It can affect your emotion. And it can make you look cool in front of your grandkids. Technology is a very important part in most of our lives. We want you to be able to live well by being knowledgeable and to make good decisions on the internet and on your devices. The first thing you need to understand about cybersecurity is that cybersecurity is your responsibility. Yes, that is correct. It is your responsibility. And while there are many tools in place to keep you safe, it is also up to yourself to make yourself safe. My first rule of cybersecurity is to never say it won't happen to me, because it definitely will. Let's go through some statistics here. In 2015, a report that Microsoft made showed that roughly 3.3 million Americans were victims of technical support fraud. Now, that's just technical support fraud. There are many other types of fraud, so this number may have been higher. The loss was reported to be roughly $1.5 billion. So there is an industry out there that is trying to scam you out of your hard-earned money. It is important that we arm ourselves with that knowledge that is needed to keep ourselves safe online. Let's talk about making smart password choices. I highly encourage each of you to think about how you manage your passwords on each and every service that you have. Do you use a single password for every device? Do you keep everything unlocked with no password code? Is your password simple to guess? These are all questions that we should be thinking about when we talk about passwords. Let's talk about some great password rules. 1. All of your devices should have a password or a PIN code on them. Yes, every single device. Your phone, your computer, your calculator, just kidding, not your calculator, but every single device should have a password or PIN on it. You may ask me, why? Well, what happens if you leave your phone somewhere? Oh, it gets stolen. Next, your password should contain numbers, letters, and special characters. Third, passwords should not be related to you in any way. Now, you may think, related to me in any way? You should stay away from using birthdays. You should stay away from using last names or first names or middle names. Let's keep it generic. How about pumpkin 36 exclamation point? The next one's a tough one. Passwords should not be used multiple times for different applications. You shouldn't use the same password that you use for Facebook as your bank account password, as your computer login password, as your Gmail password, as your Yahoo Mail password. It's just best to use different passwords for everything. Next, passwords should not be stored in an easily accessible location. If you have your passwords and you store them underneath your keyboard at your home computer, that's probably not a good thing. You should not keep your passwords in your phone case. What if your phone gets stolen and you don't have a PIN on it and then they have your passwords? You should generally keep it in a safe location, stored away where others don't know where it's at. Lastly, don't be afraid to change your password. If you suspect there has been suspicious or malicious activity on one of your accounts, feel free to change that password. Make sure that it has numbers, letters, and special characters, and make sure that it's something completely different from what it used to be. At the bottom of this page, I have added a website. If you're thinking, hey, I'm having such a hard time figuring out what kind of password to use, I've added a password generator. This password generator creates quite difficult passwords, but it gives you great examples of things that you should be striving for in your password choices. Next up is keeping devices up to date. This is absolutely vital in protecting yourself from attacks. So let's go over this. We have many devices out there. We have cell phones, we have computers, which includes laptops and desktops and tablets. We have multiple applications that we use, and we have multiple pieces of software that we use. Everything should be kept up to date. Let's kind of go over a little bit of this. The first thing I want to talk about is cell phones. Your cell phone should always be updated to the most recent version. This is generally very easy. Most of these cell phones prompt you to update when an update comes out. So when you get that little button in the morning that says software update, please download. Go ahead and click that button, run that update. Let's make sure that your cell phones are updated. Next, let's talk about computers. Computers should always be kept up to date with the latest Windows or Mac updates. These also are typically automatic. If you do get a pop-up for them, please run them. Make sure that they're up to date. We want to make sure that everything is safe on your machine. Lastly, let's talk about your software and apps. All of your devices have either software on them or applications on them. Your phone has apps. Your computer most likely has different pieces of software that you guys use. While most of these do update on their own, sometimes you will be prompted to update these things. Now, one thing to be careful about is if you're browsing the web and you click on an ad and suddenly it pops up and it says, you have a virus. Be very careful with those. Those are typically very malicious, and that is something that we will talk about in our next hot topic. Thank you for watching this video. I've really enjoyed teaching you quite a few things over cybersecurity, and I hope that you've learned quite a bit. If you want to, you're welcome to go back and rewatch the video and continue to learn. If you would, please hit that subscribe button. That way the next video that comes out, you'll be notified of it. See you next time.